Hello folks, so in this video I wanted to talk about some projects that my friend spoke about and some other related projects that I have noticed. So my friend was talking about high performance computing, and he was actually working in this thing called um, E4R, which is Engineering for Research, um, in this company called ThoughtWorks, and he was working on research projects. So you can actually see, is there any, no company mentions. Engineering for research, let me just say, put on Google and say, let's see if ThoughtWorks comes up. So ThoughtWorks is a company that has been doing this. So my friend was working on this E4R, so engineering for research. So if you just say ThoughtWorks, it's a services company, so where a lot of interesting clients are there. So one moment. E4R. I think instead for research. Okay. So there are quite some articles around this. So decline cookies. So you can actually see that my friend was working on research stuff on the engineering side of things, not the science side of things. They had scientists in the project who were helping the engineers to codify solutions, build solutions using computers, and they were doing really great stuff. So, for example, so here you can see E4R. For some reason, they put it as a trademark. So, engineering for research. So here you can actually see who we work with, the clients. Here there is engineering for research basically in one of them. So E4R is not being mentioned here. Interesting. Automotive, I don't know from which one this comes up. Engineering research. So if we actually click engineering research, I think it will come up here. Travel and transport, healthcare and life sciences, retail, and then data mesh. Okay, I'm not able to find here, but doesn't say research anywhere, interestingly. So not for profit, public sector, E4R, research, no. Anyways, so one of the clients is basically engineering for research. So you can actually see engineering research, and the scientific community today is working amidst rising data deluge and increasing relevance of complexity of systems and fading of Moore's law, which is something about processors, I think. Moore's law, I think it's about computing power, is the observation that the number of transistors in an integrated circuit, that is IC, doubles about every 2 years. And it's an empirical relationship. So every 2 years there will be more computing power and decreased costs. Um, so since this has been true, and it has driven significant advancements in technology since it was first proposed by Gordon Moore in 1965. Cool. So looks like these trends form the background for the 14th Engineering Grand Challenge posed by the US National Academy of Engineering. This humanity-wide challenge calls for engineering tools suited to scientific discovery. ThoughtWorks Engineering for Research (E4R) initiative is a response to this challenge, and their work spans across three horizons. Apparently, like business as usual, known challenges, new frontiers, right? And so you can actually see they have a data-intensive computing and whatnot. Um, Looks like there is AI also, and then digital libraries, modeling and simulation. So who they work with, so here you can actually see ultra large scale agent based simulation models. So I think this is about COVID, I'm not sure, is it? This is about COVID. Sorry, not what, COVID. So you can actually see that it's a COVID thing. So they wanted to create build a distributed multi-scale agent-based some model simulation framework for the scientific community to help envision the disease spread of COVID. So it looks like they were working on that. And then automating data processing for astronomy. There is this TMT 30-meter telescope. So, and then a few more things. So my friend was working on this, and he's now planning to move to a different company. So he is in ThoughtWorks currently, and he's serving his notice period. And he's actually moving to this company called E6 Data, which is actually a data company. So since he's moving to this company, he still wants to work on engineering for research kind of stuff, but on his own time as a hobby. So, for example, the TMT thing, you can actually see one moment. TMT 30-meter telescope, GitHub, and you should be able to find a lot of projects. For example, this is one project. I think this is one more, and this two TMT common software. Interesting. So 30-meter telescope system model in SysML, and I'm not sure if my friend comes up here. OpenMDEE. Um, Let me check if my friend is here. Nope. But he has contributed to some open source stuff. So let me check this. This is, so let me look for my friend's name is Nimalan, and I think his name comes out as Nimalan. I think it's Mark something. M4RK. I forgot the name. So his username is something different from his actual name. So this is actually some 30-meter telescope stuff, right? A lot of it is written in Scala and all. And my friend has been contributing. Let me find him online one moment. GitHub, Nimalan, Mahadevan, and I think so. This is him, and he has been working on just a moment. Not able to find his GitHub. No, M4RK. I think it's 1996 something. It's M4RK 1996 something. I don't know. And let me just say TMT project. No, I'm not able to find much. So, anyways, so he has been contributing to some of this software in 30-meter telescope and many other softwares that he has worked on. So he now wants to contribute to the research side of things, and on his own time in open source. And he was talking about how in engineering for research, there is this whole computing that we need to do, high performance computing and like large scale. But you, it's better if you have a cluster of computers and you do it in multiple computers together. So this is a prominent idea, very popular idea, where people actually use commodity software or commodity hardware, basically, which is basically just desktops and basic laptops in everyday homes, and use that to run computing. So my friend has actually found out some projects where so this is engineering for research. My friend has actually found out projects where you can actually do this thing called volunteer computing, where you volunteer your computing resources, say your computer, or I don't know if you can do this with mobile or tablets or iPads or Raspberry Pis, but I'm guessing it can be done with anything. At least in terms of like the idea, where you provide your compute resources in the form of CPU, RAM, and GPU, or similar stuff like tensor processing unit and all that, apart from just graphical processing unit, which can do some math and computations and calculations. So it's a volunteer computing is actually a form of distributed computing, where individuals donate their unused computer resources to help researchers tackle complex problems. Let's say you have your computer, you're not using it, and it has enough charge, or it's plugged to the main power point, and overnight you're not using your computer. Then usually what people do is overnight they let big files download from torrent and things like that, or they let big files be uploaded and whatnot. They let long computational processes run. Similar to that, you can actually let someone use your computing resource. For example, popularly hackers and all use uh, computing resources of different people by hacking their computers and use it for things like Bitcoin mining and all, or for distributed denial of service attacks. Now you can actually provide it for something that is actually good for some project, research project, or just some project that is trying to get something done with less money. So you basically volunteer your computing resources to actually volunteer and donate your computing resources, unused computing resources, to help researchers tackle complex problems. So you ensure that the computer has enough power and as in it has enough energy. It has the energy and it's running and it's connected to the internet. I guess that's all. It leverages the idle capacity of personal computers to perform computationally intensive tasks, offering a cost-effective and scalable way to access large computing power. So distributed nature, idle resources, so project-oriented, usually scientific research. So middleware systems. So there are middleware systems like Boeing. So we'll look at this. This is something that my friend was talking about. So are used to manage tasks, distribute work, and so he was saying actually this volunteer computing is happening, and he said that there is some central server generally involved that is doing this distribution of tasks and everything, and there is a general centralized computer or system involved, and he said that he wants to make this peer to peer, right? So let's look at some examples first of all. So we noticed what is volunteer computing, and he said one example is Einstein at home. I believe he was referring to this. So it's a Boeing volunteer computing project that analyzes data from LIGO to detect gravitational waves. So if you look at it, this is the website of Einstein at Home. So einsteinathome.org. So it's a volunteer computing project that searches for signals from spinning neutron stars in data from gravitational wave detectors, from large radio telescopes, and from a gamma ray telescope. So that searches for signals. It searches for signals from spinning neutron stars. Okay, so neutron stars are detected by their pulse radio and gamma ray emission as radio, and or gamma ray pulsars. They also might be observable as continuous gravitational wave sources if they are rapidly spinning and non-axis symmetrically deformed. I'm not sure what exactly that means, but there seems to be a lot of technical terms here and some gamma rays and gamma emission and stuff like that, and neutron stars, which I don't get. But the interesting thing is this is actually just science and purely just science, a research project. So Einstein at Home uses your computer's idle time to search for weak astrophysical signals from spinning neutron stars, often called pulsars, using data from LIGO gravitational wave detectors, the Meerkat radio telescope, the Fermi gamma ray satellite, as well as archival data from Arecibo Radio Telescope. You can learn more and you can also join apparently. So they have their user of the day, who is actually a user, over 500,000, that is like 500K volunteers and counting. So they use Windows, Mac, Linux. It can work on anything, I guess. So I wonder what happens when you click join. So this is the about, and let me just click join and let's see what happens. When you say join, you create an account and download the Boink desktop software. For Android devices, looks like you can run it on your Android devices. Visit F-Droid or download Boink for Android directly. So it looks like Boink is actually a project from, I think, Berkeley University, probably, because it says berkeley.edu. And you can actually see download Boink client software. So my friend mentioned about Boink actually. So I went and checked about Boink, and I said Boink projects. Even if you check for Boink, I think it will come up like this. It says, oh, there's a full form actually. Berkeley Open Infrastructure for Network Computing. So if you say Boink projects, I think you will notice the projects. So you can actually see University of California, Berkeley. So choosing Boeing projects, it's used by many projects. So here you can actually see Einstein at Home, I think. Einstein at Home, so that's there. So you can see it's physical science, astrophysics, right? So, and it can run on Mac, Linux, Android, Windows, ARM, Raspberry Pi, and I think even NVIDIA GPUs, AMD, and Intel, and I don't know what this is. I wonder, I think this is some operating system, FreeBSD, and this is Apple GPUs, that is basically M1, M2, M3, I think, Apple's ARM architecture, M1, M2. Intel GPUs, AMD GPUs, NVIDIA GPUs, great. So it can support all of it. So they are supporting all of it. So yeah, there are a lot of projects that you can actually go ahead and check out. So that is some Boeing projects. So looking at just Boeing itself, you can actually see it lets you help cutting edge science research. You know, like lets you help, not helps you, not, lets you help cutting edge science research using your computer, which can be a calculator, any sort of calculator, like your own laptop, your desktop computer, um, your say your tablets, iPads, iPhones, or just phones, Android phones and whatnot, right? So the Boeing app running on your computer downloads scientific computing jobs and runs them invisibly in the background. It's easy and it's safe. And about 30 science projects use Boeing. They investigate diseases, study climate change, discover pulsars. I think this is what Einstein at home was, and do many other types of scientific research. So you can see how the name is very cute in terms of like Einstein at home. It's like saying that at home, at every home, there's an Einstein, basically a computer, and someone actually setting up that computer for the computer to be an Einstein, and also inevitably also the person to become a part of a science project, a research project. So apparently this has some central server is what my friend was saying, and he didn't want any central server, and he wanted to do this similar computing stuff but using a peer-to-peer. And actually even peer-to-peer involves some central server, but it's used only for discovery purposes, for bootstrapping, so where one peer discovers other peers or another peer, and then once the peers connect to each other, I think the central server is becomes redundant, and so it's just used for introducing the peers to each other. Unlike this case where my friend said it's not the case here, which I need to read, but I would recommend you to check it out in case you're interested in science projects and computers, and you want to help. So the Boeing and Science United Nations are located at the University of California, Berkeley, and are supported by the National Science Foundation. So you can actually see the Berkeley University and NSF, so National Science Foundation. So there are science projects and user manuals, and there's a Reddit subreddit. So and you can also create and maintain a Boeing project. So run Autodoc, Vina jobs with Boeing Central and Raccoon to a lot of stuff, and they are on GitHub. So Boeing is on GitHub. So here you can actually see the Boeing. I think this is an organization, and you can see the Boeing project, and you can actually see different projects under them. So let's go back, and I think there must be some desktop software. I'm guessing they would have created the desktop software. Let's see, desktop, mobile. I wonder how it runs. This has been written in PHP. I'm guessing that's just the website, or I don't know if it's a web app. So let's see. Autodoc, Vina. This was something that came up there. Desktop. Interesting. The open source software for volunteer computing and grid computing. So that is that. And so it's free software, and learn about other ways to help. If you're interested in donating, go to the Boeing website, report any bugs. And are there any releases here to download? This is, I think, VirtualBox, VBox Wrapper release. So there are 32 assets, and I think these are Boeing clients. For Buster is actually a Debian thing, I think. So Bullseye, Bookworm, yeah. So this is SUSE. RPM is, I think, Red Hat Package Manager, so it's a package for that. DB is for Debian. Jammy is all Debian. Buster is Debian. Bullseye is Debian. Bookworm, I think these are all Debian. Let me check. Jammy is Ubuntu. Okay. Okay. Jammy is Ubuntu. Focal is also Ubuntu, is it? Buster is Debian. So that is, so errata is this, and Buster. So there is also Bullseye. There is this, right? So you can actually see how there are a lot of these over here, and there is also like 64-bit and also AMD 64 and x86 64 and whatnot. So yeah, and this is for Boeing Client Manager release, pre-release. Boeing Client Manager. There are many pre-releases, and there is also some. This release contains next fixes, and I wonder what this is. I think this is actually a VirtualBox wrapper, where I think they run the stuff in VirtualBox and can run it on Linux, Windows, um, and Apple and whatnot. And there's also some server release. I think here they provide just the server, I'm guessing. Development community is pleased to announce a newer server version. This provides an overview of the new features. Okay. So yeah, there are different kinds of software. You can actually see that, and looks like there is server, there is VirtualBox, VBox, Wrapper, and then there is. I'm guessing VBox is VirtualBox, and then there's Boeing Client slash Manager release, right? So this one actually the naming says client underscore release, and for the other stuff, I think for server release there is server underscore release tree, and for VBox wrapper there's a VBox wrapper, right? Great. So we can actually see all the source code over here. I think go to Boeing, and I think we should see different branches. Say for example VBox. I think we might notice the VBox wrapper. View more branches. VBox. Okay, VBox. Okay, maybe I will go ahead and look at the overview and maybe check for a client. Yeah, so client underscore release, there are a lot of things /7 slash and whatnot. You can see something called WCG. I don't know what is the WCG. There's also some auto login client. Let's just look at client underscore release, and we might notice a lot of stuff. So let's look at this 8.2. Looks like this is the latest, and this one is actually some Sun.14. So this is actually project website. Build status. Want to create a project? Okay. Want to help translate? Okay. And want to contribute? Okay. So if you want to contribute, you just go here, and I think you should be able to do it. Okay. So that is the website for thing. Design docs, completed development, and for Windows, for I think this is OpenID Connect, OIDC. OpenID Connect, is it? Oh, no, OpenID. I'm not sure what that means. It's just OpenID, it says. And yeah, so completed projects. And you can check this out. So there is something called Client Manager, Server General. So I think these are what the managers are. Like there is scheduler and whatnot. There is some PHP code for the web pages, and I think RPC is remote procedure call. So yep. Then there are protocols and source code development in progress, client, API, manager, server components, and data archival and whatnot. Right. So interesting stuff. So here you can actually see ways to launch the Boeing client, Windows, Macintosh, Linux, right? And so can you download it from somewhere? Nope, it doesn't say much about that. Can you download it? Yeah, download in other formats. Okay, this is just to get the text format of this web page. So you can just get a. Okay, this is just a text of this, right? And okay, some of the links are 404 not found. Interesting. So anyway, so yeah, that is some stuff regarding the Boeing project, and I'm not sure how it's written, but looks like people just need to dig in before understanding how it has been built for different platforms. And yeah, as you can see, that's the website maintained by University of California, Berkeley. I think people also call it as Berkeley University. I think I'm not sure. Let me check. UC Berkeley is basically University of California, Berkeley. Instead of University of Berkeley, it's more like University of California, Berkeley, UC Berkeley, and it's a popular you know, place. Um, and yeah, this is what, so Boink, this Boink, Boink projects, Boink, and the downloads. So here you can see some stuff, what is unstable and whatnot, older versions and all that. And Einstein at home, how to download it. Run the installer, choose Einstein at home from the list or enter Einstein at home.org. Cool. So yeah, it's been running since 2005. The Einstein at home. Let's close some of that. And when my friend told me that he wants to do this peer-to-peer instead of using a central server, that Boeing apparently does, I was thinking if he wants to do something like MapReduce, which is actually a popular concept. It's a programming model. It's a framework. It's an idea or an algorithm where you can actually take a big task. He was talking about big tasks, which you can't actually just do it, download and do it in one go. Instead, he wanted to split it. So it's kind of like, so in MapReduce, that's what you do. You basically have a very big task, which is split into chunks. And then it's mapped to the chunks of work is mapped to some servers, I think. And they do the computation. And then finally, all the data is put together and reduced into one, like finally aggregate and get one answer. But my friend's idea was to just do the computation after splitting the tasks, no reduce. So just map and do the computation. So you can go and check out what is MapReduce, Hadoop, and Hadoop file system, and even stuff like Google file system. And he was talking about, so yeah, he was talking about peer-to-peer computing framework, right? There are a lot of peer-to-peer stuff over there, out there, and so he wanted to do this, and he was asking me, do I know IP file system, right? Interplanetary file system. So if you look for IPFS, which is short for Interplanetary File System, there are other things also like IPFS.com, which is not something you're looking for. That's not what I'm talking about. It's IPFS.com is actually a company. That's where the .com, it's commercial and it's a company, and it offers premium financing and payment technology, something for insurance agents, providers, and all. So that's not what we are looking at. We are looking at Interplanetary File System. That's the full form of IPFS. So you have to look for IPFS.tech and look for the Wikipedia, which says Interplanetary File System. So it's a protocol. It's a hypermedia and file sharing peer-to-peer network for sharing data using a distributed hash table, which is short for DHT. D for dog or D for distributed, H for hash, H for home, T for Tommy tonight, so table, to store provider information. So I think this is kind of similar to, I think BitTorrent also is a peer-to-peer thing, and it uses distributed hash table from what I remember. And so BitTorrent is for file sharing. Yes, this is apparently for hypermedia. I'm not sure what that is, what that means. But so my friend actually wanted to store files in a distributed manner. So he wanted to use this, and he said the idea is to use this and then on top of this do some computation. So he said, so this is actually building blocks for a better web and all that. So you can store, verify, and share data across distributed networks. So there's a lot of stuff over here. You can actually read through this IPFS.tech. So it's open and verifiable. You can verify the integrity and it's resilient. And you can actually check out more about this. And looks like there are big communities. You can join the community, right? And how many nodes are there and how many CIDs. I wonder what is a CID. I think it's a the club we offer to make content available to every user by removing lock-in to any single layer. IPFS really allows our customers to choose a storage provider they're comfortable with. Looks like Cloudflare does something around this, and let's see. Let's see. Okay, interesting. Interesting that it doesn't come up here. Yes, for some reason it went down over here, but I will leave it at that. And there is a lot of stuff around. So it looks like people are using stuff like NFT also. So it was such a relief to know that I could store my videos in one place, each one with its own IPFS URL and CID. Resilience is important to me, and having the work backed up to Filecoin means they'll be around for a long time. So looks like there is something more to this whole IPFS thing. And I also noticed that when I looked for IPFS, there was something called Filebase. So you can actually see IPFS, the company, the something about finance and whatnot, and then the IPFS tech, the documentation around it, and then this is again the insurance premium financing solutions IPFS, different thing, not the interplanetary file system. So you can actually check out in How to Geek what is it, how do you use it, and whatnot. And then there is this thing called Filebase, which basically talks about IPFS. And what is Filebase? Seems like it is actually the leading interplanetary development platform, providing users with quick access to IPFS storage, dedicated IPFS gateways, and IPNS names. I think this is similar to interplanetary name server or name servers. So I wonder how IPFS plays a role here. Um, I think IPFS concepts and CID, we can actually see what is IPFS, peer-to-peer distributed file system, right? And what is CID? So content identifier. Looks like it's an identifier similar to, I'm guessing it's like a hash or some unique identifier for content. Unique value used to identify files stored on the IPFS network. So yeah, there are different versions, I guess, for this. CID version and can be converted between versions. For example, the source can be converted to. Okay. Nice. And yeah, I mean, I'm guessing that these people have some. So it looks like there is a 5 GB free IPFS storage. You can get started, and you can actually see that being mentioned in multiple places. What is IPFS? So you can actually click this, and you can also notice that you know, let me see, 5 GB. There was one more place where I noticed this when I saw Welcome to Filebase. I think 5 GB was there multiple. Yeah. So to get started with Filebase, this is where I saw first. Sign up for a free 5 GB account and then check out our getting started guides. So pin your first file to IPFS, developer start guide, and whatnot. So that is interplanetary file system, a distributed peer-to-peer distributed file system. And I'll sign up for this later. It's called Filebase, by the way. You can go check it out. And How to Geek has mentioned, um, how to use this, how it works, and BitTorrent and all. So again, peer-to-peer stuff, and how you can install interplanetary file systems. So I think this is a article from 2022. IPFS, I think, started. Let's see when it started. I think I've known this project long back. So this in 2015 it was there. I don't know when I got to know about IPFS. Probably around 2015, 2016, or probably 2017 or something like that. I remember browsing on the internet a lot. So I was a maniac always on the internet and trying to just simply check out some new stuff and just read what it means and what it is, and simply try out some small hello programs in different kinds of stuff that I was checking out. So this was one peer-to-peer thing. I had also learned about this thing called, of course, BitTorrent. When I noticed something else, I'll talk to you about that. And so this is IPFS. And there's one more peer-to-peer thing or a distributed thing called DAT, DAT, D for dog, A for apple, T for Tommy tonight. So DAT Foundation, so it's a community-driven web protocol. So you can actually see this. It's a peer-to-peer protocol for distributed data synchronization. So apparently this website is replicated. So you can go to that ecosystem. You can actually remember this logo. It's a hexagon and looks like it spins. So 2, 4, 6, yes, it's a hexagon, and you can actually see that ecosystems. So yep, and they have different projects and when they started and all that. I think the first project probably started long back. Let me check when that, like how old that is. And you can actually see there are multiple URLs now. datproject.org is one, which is actually deprecated, and then dat.foundation, which is also deprecated. You can actually see, you can go to Dart ecosystem, so value driven technology, and I think this is one browser that they brought up with for building the peer-to-peer web, where you can actually host your own website, and hyper division, scaling distributed systems in crypto, so digital democracy, right? So some interesting stuff. This is also about peer-to-peer technology and distributed system, right? So distributed data community. So and then there is the DAT project again, the documentation. You'll actually notice that this is the DAT project documentation, and nowhere it says it's a deprecated website. Interesting. Let me see if I can find the same documentation from here. Our members, alumni, tools, manifesto, doc, important documentation. Nope. Interesting. Home, and if I can just go down and say doc, is there no documentation? Important documents, visit links, code of conduct. Okay. Looks like I'm not able to find important documents. It just says important documents and doesn't say much. Interesting. Code of conduct, important documents, members. I'm not able to open much of these. Interesting. Oh yeah, now I'm able to open it. So I had to double click, I think, important documents, tools. Yeah. So it's on GitHub. And yeah, I think Cabal, I remember using Cabal something, I think. So join the DAT ecosystem chat network. I think Cabal uses DAT. Let me check. So I forgot. I think Cabal is actually a Cabal chat. So it's a IRC, okay, Internet Relay Chat thing. So it was popular, I think, some time back. I remember when I was new to the whole software industry, and I think just before that. So yeah, there's Cabal. It's an IRC, very fancy one. Um, so now with that, so I think they even have a Jitsi, which is kind of like Zoom, but by Apache. So Apache Jitsi is actually one moment. Never allow. So I think Jit.c. Hey, meet Jit.c. Yeah, so I think this is Apache's thing. I have to check it out. Apache Jitsi. So Jitsi meet. I think this is under Apache Software Foundation. I can't recall now. It has an Apache license, but yeah, I don't know if it's by Apache. Jitsi.org basically. Apache, no. Anyways, so yeah, they are available on all of this, Cabal, Jitsi, and all. And the documentation. Let me just take a break. One moment. I'll come back. Hello, folks. So I'm back, and one moment. Yeah, so we were talking about DAT protocol, peer-to-peer protocol. I have actually tried this by running a small web server where an HTML file was being served, and that was my website, and I hosted it like kind of from my computer. If my computer is running it and it has the file, then it will be able to distribute it to any other computer. If there are some more computers that have the file, then they'll also be able to distribute it in case my computer goes down. But if my computer is the only computer that has it, I think it won't be able to do much in case it goes down. So let's look at some other URLs that say DAT. So actually, there's this thing called DAT-project. I don't think this is the DAT project you're looking for. This is something about externally facilitated working group of 6 and stuff that is created by department. That's two also. Department Action Team project, a proven way to bring lasting positive changes to your academic department. So I think this is something else. Um, so yeah, it's like some theory and whatnot. This is not a protocol that we're looking for. This is not the peer-to-peer protocol. And there are like awesome DAT projects apparently, which you can actually see in this. And looks like there's a DAT toolkit and the DAT project on GitHub. So you can actually see, I think GitHub, we even opened it up here also, DAT ecosystem. So I think DAT project, I think this is old now. it goes to that ecosystem. Okay, that project.github.io. So it says that project, how that works, and that ecosystem. Okay, so this is it goes to the dat ecosystem.archive.github.io. How that works, right? You can go to that ecosystem again, right? And for this, I think it's just gonna redirect that. Yes. GitHub pages redirection to for this to this. So basically, I think they would have put a redirect over here. Meta equivalent refresh content. Yep. So it goes to that, and there is a Dart ecosystem archive also, which I think is Dart ecosystem archive. Yeah, there is a page for that too. There's a GitHub organization for that too. That ecosystem archive, and it has the awesome data and whatnot, and how that works and all that. And there is a GitHub page, I think, over here. The datprotocol.org is also here. Let's see, one moment. Yep, datprotocol.org. So I don't think it works anymore. Okay, but this used to be a website. Dat foundation and that project. Okay, so there are multiple of these. And then github.io, I think it must be in the second page. github.io, it must be in the last page, I guess. Nope. I've gone through all of it and I'm not able to find it. So I'm guessing somewhere they have the website, or this is probably how that works. Okay, how that works is actually a website, which is this one. So basically that ecosystem archive slash how that works. So it's actually a repository and it goes to this, right? As you can see, it goes to this. How that works. I think this per se, there is no website. Yep. So this is the how that works thing, and they talk about how the discovery works and how the whole thing works. So it looks like there's a lot of information here. So in case you're looking at how that works, wow, that's a lot of information. So visual index. So yep. One moment. Okay, so this is just a visual index to show where is what. These are images and then hash tree and whatnot. So I think distributed hash table it comes up here. Hash table, yeah, is a distributed hash table, and there are a lot of interesting projects. There's this thing called Hyperswarm. Okay, so it looks like Hashbase. Let's see if this is still available. No. Is hashbase.io available? Maybe not. Oh, it is available. Hashbase hosting for the peer-to-peer web. So looks like it was something over here. I think Hyperswarm is a popular thing. I remember looking at a project with Hyperswarm. HyperDX, affordable full stack production debugging and monitoring. Just a moment, resolve production issues faster. Looks like it's something about open source observability platforms. Yeah, and ClickHouse as a call it. Okay, Hyperswarm and say GitHub. I think you should be able to find it. Yep, Hyperswarm protocol, Hypercore protocol. Right. So Hyperswarm, distributed networking stack for connecting peers. Whole punch.2. So you install it using this. So I think Hyperswarm is on this. It's an npm package. It's on npm. Is it written using? It's written using JavaScript. So yeah. So let me check Whole Punch. Peer-to-peer companies. So yep, Whole Punch.2. They have the Hyperswarm, DHT, Hypercore, Core Store, Hyper-B, lot of stuff. So looks like they have interesting stuff. File management and collaboration. So what is it's a peer-to-peer company, download peer introducing pair, a combined peer-to-peer runtime development and deployment tool. Interesting. So it's like a thing. I guess if you download it, pairs.com, unleash the power of peer-to-peer. So pair and nice. If you can dream it, you can build it, and a lot of stuff. Cool. So it's a peer-to-peer company, Hole Punch, and literally the um, logo is hole in a punch or a boxing glove. So website terms, join the team. So keep in touch. Yep. So get key to beta. So there's key to only shares encrypted data between participants in your calls without middlemen, third parties. There's nobody that who can snoop or key video calls are operate over direct connections between you and your friends without using servers that can throttle your performance. You know the difference. So this is literally peer-to-peer. I think this is based on WebRTC, which is Web Real-Time Communication. So you can actually see this, and it's private and encrypted, amazing video quality and all. You can share huge files, payments built in with Bitcoin, USDT, and all that, and powered by a whole bunch. Okay. Cool. So that is Keat, and let me actually close these up. And so it's an append only B tree, so running on a hypercore. So Hyper-V is actually a B tree, okay, to which you can actually just add nodes, I guess, Hyper-V core, and you can put keys and values. So it's a B tree. I know B trees and B plus trees, so interestingly, I think this is a B tree. So I'll probably check this out, yes. And it's a secure distributed append only log. So okay, it's a distributed append-only log. So I think this is similar to the append-only logs that you have in databases like write-ahead logs. So it's a secure and distributed append-only log. So you can actually put things real time and only download the data you're interested in, get the latest updates to the log fast and securely. So it's pretty interesting. Okay. So core store, a simple core store that wraps a random access storage module. Okay. Not sure what that is. Sounds like random access memory, but RAM. So Hyperdrive is a secure real-time distributed file system. I think this is a peer-to-peer or like distributed file system. I'm not sure if it's peer-to-peer. Um, yeah, it does have something called peers and all, but yeah, it's a distributed file system similar to I guess IPFS. File system API that is similar to Hyperdrive. Okay, so I'm not sure what file system API is. So okay, this is for the local drive. Yeah, there's local drive. So this is local drive. Yeah, and then there is also mirror drive. So mirror two drives. So mirror a hyperdrive or local drive into another one. So yeah, I think you can have the source to be a local drive or hyperdrive, and the destination to be a you know hyperdrive. So yep, and yeah, I mean, what else? Looks like there are some interesting stuff over here, and everything written in JavaScript. It would be interesting to actually read through the code. Autobase lets you write concise multi-writer data structures. Okay, so multi-writers, where multiple writers are there. How many readers are there? And writers itself is crazy. Combining multiple writer codes into a view of the system using the event sourcing pattern, writers append blocks, which are linearized into an eventually consistent order for building a view of the system, combining the inputs. Interesting. So that's why the name, I think, auto base, automatically base or rebase. Git has this thing called rebase and merge and all. I think this is kind of like auto. So eventual consistency, I wonder if they use conflict free replicated data types, CRDT. Nope. Is there anything about conflicts? No. I wonder how they do the thing. So yeah. And pair by Hole Punch. It's is a combined peer-to-peer runtime development deployment tool. So build, share, extend unstoppable zero trust peer-to-peer applications for desktop, terminal, and mobile. So yeah, looks like it's the it's not coding properly, but it's the Internet of Peers. And there is Hyperswarm. I think this is what is Hyperswarm, Hole Punch. Basically, Hyperswarm turned into Hole Punch, I think, because this was popular from what I remember, Hyperswarm. If I remember correctly, so let me see if I can actually go to GitHub Hyperswarm and see where it goes to. Yeah, I remember this actually. I also remember the guy who did this, I think. Um, Punch GitHub org moving to Punch. Hypercore protocol team formed Punch in order to massively accelerate the realization of a true peer-to-peer internet. Punch is an app development platform that makes it easy to build, ship, and update fully peer-to-peer desktop or mobile apps without using any servers. And check out Keyed Alpha to see Punch in action. It's 100% built on top of Hypercore, Hyperswarm, Hyperdrive, and other modules you've seen. If you're familiar with if you're familiar with the Hypercore's ecosystem, we are more committed than ever to maintaining and growing these modules in the long haul to tell a clear story and to ensure that our code is easily discoverable. We are consolidating modules that are currently scattered around different orgs. The modules that were previously in this org are now in Whole Punch GitHub org. So, yep. So there's a lot of stuff here, and the remaining stuff I think has been moved. I don't know why these have not been moved. I think related stuff has been put there, and then the other stuff is just kept here. Um, so pretty interesting stuff. A distributed networking stack for connecting peers. So yep, that is that. And for example, on Swarm, so let's say you have a hyperswarm, and on connection you say this is a server connection, and connection whenever there's a connection to the swarm, you actually write data, right? And you say connection on data. Whenever there's a data coming in, then you just say client got message, and then you type that in. So this is actually a listener, I believe, and this one writes data here and then ends. So I think you get the data client got message, so you'll actually see something. After this point, both client and server should have connections. Okay. So topic buffer allocate 32 fill hello world topic must be 32 bytes. Okay. And discovery server true client false. Swarm one discovery dot flush wait for the topic to be fully announced on the DHT. Join swarm to join server false client true. Waits for the swarm to connect to pending viewers. I need to understand that, but yeah, there's a lot of stuff here. Something to check out and learn and work on. And I think this was first released long back, from what I understand. I think let me check it out. 100 versions, so you can actually see that there have been a lot of versions. 6 years ago, version 2 came out. So yeah, so there's like as you can see, there's hundreds of versions, and yeah, I mean if you take all of this and put it in lines, you'll see 100 lines, I guess. Let me go here and show deprecated versions also, and let me actually just put this in here. Yeah, there are some 1.0 deprecated versions. If I copy all of this, and there's a 1.0 and all, so you can see 102 versions. So it says 100 versions, but I think it's basically one moment. Yeah, there are 100 versions basically, including the deprecated versions, which is like some 4 of them. So these are in red color, as you can see, and 1.000102 1.10. Even is deprecated. Yeah, they've said even is deprecated. Yeah. So I wonder how they do that. Something to check out. And the code is here. You can actually go through the code, I guess. And of course, the homepage repository and all is here. So that is Hyperswarm, and yeah, I mean, I remember checking out about Hyperswarm. We came here because well, I always get into a hole of, I mean, rabbit hole, right? A lot of things. It's a rabbit hole. I was in Cabal and whatnot. I wonder where I came from. Hyperswarm. Let's see. I had package Hyperswarm. Yeah, I mean this. Let's see. GitHub Hyperswarm, Hypersign. Interesting. Utility methods. related to public key cryptography to be used with distributed method storage. Okay. And hole punch, pairs, auto base, mirror drive, hyperdrive, hypercore, hole punch to keep, pairs, hole punch. Yeah, I think it came up here, hyperswarm, right? So that's how I went there. So currently news will be replaced by hyperswarm in the future. So here you can actually see is able to hole punch through. Okay, that's why hyperswarm is called probably hole punch 2 for some reason. Maybe this is able to hole punch through NAT devices on networks. This helps users on residential or mobile internet connections directly connect to each other despite not having dedicated IP addresses or being able to accept incoming TCP connections. So I think this might be useful. And the multi-writer concept, noise protocol. Looks like there are multiple interesting things, and hyperdrive too, which is again, I think, which is basically dependent on the stuff that they were doing. Yeah, conflictly replicated data type, CRDT, and yep. So, yeah, I mean, interesting stuff. So, let's close this up. And Hashbase seems like it's hosting for the peer-to-peer web, and yeah. So I think it's based on that. Share snippets of code, text, code, and outcomes. So that project again. So that is all that project, and that is also on Mastodon and all. So you can actually see that they're on Mastodon, and they're also on Open Collective. You can contribute to them, you can donate to them, and they're also having a blog, and they're on Discord, they're on X, that is Twitter, and yeah, they have a dark theme too. So great, cool. So now and you can also use the terminal and type help and it's okay help and this, and you can actually see files and folders. Interesting. And close it, close it. Demo sessions, you can actually see some demo sessions how to do P2P video and text chats. So I think this is peer-to-peer stuff. I'm not sure if they're using WebRTC, that is web real time WebRTC. No, maybe not. They're not using WebRTC. Maybe not. I don't know. So this is Keat. So basically, the Dart ecosystem. They've actually spoken about Keat over here, and you know, it's a peer-to-peer video and text chat. Matthias is the guy who is pretty popular. I know. I remember the name Matthias because of Hyperswarm and stuff. So is there anything about WebRTC here? No. Hypercore to keep the Matthias boost on the feature of. So looks like these are some stuff like from 2023, and Jitsi, yeah, open source stuff. This is the organization and everything. I'll come back to this ecosystem archive. So let me close these, Keat and everything, Hyper-V. I actually know that Matthias Boost, this is the one thing. Yeah, Macintosh. Yeah, I know this guy. I remember this guy. I remember this face, I think. I mean, I remember his face as in like he was a bit bald, I think, and there were some older pictures of him also. Let's close this out. So yeah, that is Macintosh. I'm surprised I don't follow him. I used to follow him. He actually created C, for example, Pureflix, which is streaming torrent client for Node.js. So then torrent stream and many interesting things. And he has some 926 projects, and he runs whole bunch too, of course. And that is him, Macintosh. Looks like it's not working for some reason. And yeah, I've already started, and I think I've tried it out. So this was about streaming torrent files. And based on this peer-to-peer stuff, BitTorrent, you would know, there are a lot of people who have actually built on top of BitTorrent. For example, one moment. So yeah, you can actually check out some awesome DAT projects, ecosystem. So you can actually see the DAT project paper. Looks like it's not there here, so you'll probably have to find it just online while looking for that paper. Command line interface and desktop and browser and all. I think Beaker is the browser, yeah. So that is that. Hypervision, uh, Hyper-T and whatnot. So many applications, so a lot of that stuff. You can actually go check it out. So outdated stuff is also there, and yep. And if you want to look at the DAT project paper, You can actually just say paper. I think white paper. Let me say paper. And nope, white paper. Um, no, it doesn't go properly to the place. So there are some articles around this. That's all. So, oh yeah, this is actually a paper. Yeah. So this is by some people, and you can actually download the PDF. So this is an open and decentralized research data tool. So once you download, you should be able to see this. This is actually a research paper. So that is the research paper on scientific data. Uh, I'm not sure if this is just a comment. Information is increasingly shared. And, okay. So that is the paper, and that's project. I'm not sure what is this. Web3 security, about us. That project has been. I think this is something else. That protocol is not. Oh, it is there. That protocol.com is working. I think from the foundation website. So yeah, that this is that website. So that protocol, and so you can actually see the white paper view source on GitHub. So that protocol slash white paper. So that ecosystem. Yeah, that's the white paper. Deprecated C deps. Added for archival purposes. More info. Okay, and sleep.pdf. That paper. I don't know what is sleep.pdf. This is the README, of course. I wonder what's sleep.pdf. Syncable ledger of exact events protocol. Okay, that is some paper, and there is the that paper also. Yeah, so you can actually find it here. Oh, it looks like interestingly, Matthias has worked on this. Okay, so great. So Matthias Bose Madsen has actually worked on this too. Weird that I couldn't find that name here. Was it written here? Oh yeah, it is here. Matthias Bose Madsen. Weirdly, I just read the first two names. I didn't read and this name, and I didn't read this. So that is Matthias Bose. So our guy. Cool. So that's the DAT white paper, and the four people who made it happen. One, two, three. I think there's one more person. Four, five people, right? According to this, one, two, three, four people. So yeah, and at least that was the comment, I think, and this is probably the thing. Updated in Jan 2018. So this came up in 2018, I guess. So yeah. 23 October 2018. So I think that is a comment after that, right? So this is the DAT project and open access and all that. So this is the comment and whatnot, and that is the paper. I think the paper might be mentioned here. Data citation synthesis group, and weird that they didn't mention the DAT paper itself. They might have. I'm not sure. Let me check. Let me look for Matthias and Vika browser. So he's the project guy, so authors and affiliations. So that's all right. I think this is what this one is, and I think Carissa has done more stuff and whatnot. So corresponding author is basically Daniel. So I think the other three, Joe A. Hand and Matthias and Carissa are the main people. Carissa, Maxwell Ogden. Anyway, so yeah, that's the white paper for that. And with this, I'll also talk about BitTorrent now. So BitTorrent is actually a company and a protocol. So you actually see it's a peer-to-peer file sharing protocol. The org, BitTorrent.com is actually a company, I guess. So BitTorrent.org, forum for developers to exchange ideas about for the protocol. So for users, developers, and all that. BitTorrent economics paper. So it looks like there is some BitTorrent. Econ, I don't know, economics, I guess. Incentives build robustness in BitTorrent. So Econ basically BitTorrent economics, and then this is BitTorrent company, lightning and fast mobile torrenting. So yeah, there is uTorrent Lite. I think a lot of people might know, and there's also BitTorrent Web now, and you can actually see BitTorrent protocol in general. You can learn about it, and the best thing about this whole thing is in peer-to-peer, BitTorrent is very popular. peer-to-peer protocol, peer-to-peer BitTorrent protocol, and you can actually read about it here. The engineering behind BitTorrent protocol and whatnot, and world of peer-to-peer. So looks like there's a book also, wiki books, right? And yeah, there's someone who has actually written about this. Um, so that is that. And one moment, I think I noticed something interesting. Something about Hermit 3 version of GeoGuessr. Okay, I think. So this person, I think, has written many interesting things. And you can see the BitTorrent thing, and it was built by Bran Cohen. I think you might hear this name a lot, and it was built in 2001, 24 years ago, the protocol. And so yeah, um, BitTorrent.org, and it's a peer-to-peer thing, and you'll actually notice, for example, there is this peer-to-peer networking with BitTorrent, and this is a 2005 thing, so it's something about using BitTorrent and doing peer-to-peer networking with us. And on top of BitTorrent, some people did some crazy stuff using this thing called WebRTC. So let me go ahead and show you what is WebRTC. Um, WebRTC, and I want to show you what is like peer-to-peer. So here you can actually see what is peer-to-peer BitTorrent protocol and all that. It allows users to distribute data and files, basically, especially files or like data over the internet in a decentralized manner, right? So yeah, there are torrent files, there is seeding, and then there's leeching. Seeding is basically where people are basically uploading data to others, and after they have the entire file or even parts of the file, I think you can give it again. Peers who are still downloading, right? Leeches, like sucking leeches, the blood sucker, similar to that. And you can actually see some interesting stuff regarding BitTorrent. A lot of people have implemented BitTorrent, and there are, I think, BitTorrent enhancements protocol. I think enhancement protocol is what it's called, or I don't know, BEP. I'm guessing is short for something. Um, let's see. BEP. Peer-to-peer networking. Okay, one moment. BEP in BitTorrent. I think this should give a answer. What is BEP? I think here it should have the answer. What is BEPs? Yeah, BitTorrent enhancement protocol. Yeah, enhancement proposal, I guess. Yeah, BitTorrent enhancement proposal process. Right. So this is the first one. Stands for BitTorrent enhancement proposal. This is similar to Kubernetes enhancement proposal, KEP KEPS. This is a popular thing that people use, enhancement proposals. So not enhancement protocol, sorry, proposal. So that is that. And on top of BitTorrent, which is a peer-to-peer thing, some people used this thing called WebRTC, which Chrome brought in, and now other people are also implementing, which is for web real-time communication, for doing like audio chat, video chat. I have built stuff using this, for example, peer-to-peer video chat. Let me show you. Yeah, this is something that I built long back. Now it's not working from what I understand. And I need to actually deploy it properly again. So the thing is, currently you can't use it and just to do things, but this is something that I did, the backend and frontend. So I think this is the JavaScript. This is the frontend, I think, and I think this is the backend. Yeah, this is using Node.js. Basically using Express server, and this was the front end. Like the front end was this basically, like public, and basically this was the HTML file, and this was the JavaScript, right? Where I use WebSockets, socket.io, WebSockets, and this thing called Simple Peer, which is actually a package, Simple Peer, which takes care of some WebRTC stuff. So I'm not sure if it's still, yeah, it still exists. So simple WebRTC videos, voice and data channels, video channel, voice channel, and data channels, right? So we are hiring a peer-to-peer WebRTC mobile web application expert. So peer-to-peer WebRTC ways your mobile web app to help. Okay, looks like there is some company, Definity. It's a foundation internet computer blockchain. Okay, great. So looks like Matthias is the guy who made this, and the guy named Feroz here is the guy who actually brought in this whole idea of like using WebRTC on top of JavaScript and also creating something for the web using the concept of BitTorrent, WebRTC. He made something called WebTorrent. So this is Feroz. You can actually see him like contributing to WebTorrent. He is a great guy. So it looks like he is the CEO of Socket now, and he started WebTorrent basically. So and standard, which is actually I think a linter of sorts. Yeah, style guide with linter and automatic code fixer. So it's pretty popular, standard JS. It's similar to ESLint. And WebTorrent is very, very popular. It's basically um, BitTorrent or torrent basically, and it's streaming torrent for the web. So if you go to BitTorrent, you can actually see that you know if you are on the web, you can actually use it to stream and like see this is you, and there are other people, right? So once you have downloaded this completely, you will start providing it as a thing, and this is the how much it's being downloaded over here, right? And torrents on the desktop. So WebTorrent works on the web, on the website using WebRTC. So on top of which BitTorrent protocol has been implemented. So WebTorrent is basically BitTorrent on top of WebRTC. Because BitTorrent by itself is actually a TCP based protocol from what I understand. So let's see. So BitTorrent protocol is actually a TCP based TCP. Can I find it somewhere? Yeah, here so the specification and POI protocol is basically it's TCP. You can actually read about this over here. I think it should be mentioned here. It's based on TCP. So a web browser cannot open up a TCP connection, a raw TCP connection. So, but it can do HTTP connections and it can do WebRTC. So you can actually see how there is WebTorrent mentioned over here. Opera web browser supports BitTorrent natively. Brave web browser ships with an extension which supports WebTorrent, a BitTorrent like protocol based on WebRTC instead of UDP and TCP. So BitTorrent is based on UDP or TCP and all, and but WebTorrent is based on WebRTC, but the concept is the same, right? And pretty interesting stuff. WebTorrent, which is also a peer-to-peer thing. So you can actually see that 129 MB is downloaded completely, and now you are seeding to others, right? Central.torrent. So yeah, and this works on the web, and it also works on the desktop because in desktop you actually have access to the Node.js runtime. On the web, it's the web browser with WebRTC. Assuming WebRTC is implemented in that browser. On the desktop, it's the it's the operating system. So as long as the operating system supports Node.js and the Node.js runtime can run on it, I think WebTorrent. This is an Electron application where you can use JavaScript and create it. So you can actually see that WebTorrent is all JavaScript, a lot of JavaScript and some shell, right? So on the desktop, it uses Node.js, I think. So you can actually see in Node.js, this module is a simple torrent client using TCP and UDP to talk to other torrent clients. In the browser, WebTorrent uses WebRTC data channels for the peer-to-peer transport. So it can be used without browser plugins, extensions, or installations. It's just JavaScript. So we already have put the trademark. So Node does not support UDP, TCP. We are in the browser, right? So WebTorrent can work with only the WebRTC ones. So how does WebTorrent get its data? If let's say if there's a BitTorrent, how does it get? So basically, if you go to the WebTorrent website, you'll actually notice that how this works is basically there must be something about this. I forgot. They had a good visual for this. Yeah. So basically, WebTorrent, the app, right, the desktop app, has access to both WebRTC because it has Electron. Say, for example, it's a desktop app, so it's built using Electron, which is actually just a Chrome browser with Chrome browser as just a browser with HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and it also has access to the operating system, the file system, the network, input, output, and all, right? And the operating system, right? And the Node.js runtime and all. So it has access to the browser stuff, which is WebRTC, and it also has access to TCP, UDP, So it can be a BitTorrent protocol and also a WebTorrent protocol, like WebRTC. So it will help the WebTorrent clients, and WebTorrent clients will help each other using WebRTC. But if they need to get data from the BitTorrent, it has to go through this hybrid, which is basically, uh, doing both WebRTC with WebTorrent and TCP/UDP with BitTorrent folks, right? So it's a very interesting thing. Connects to both BitTorrent and WebTorrent peers. So this is the desktop, right? So you can actually see it says BitTorrent desktop connects to both BitTorrent and web. So BitTorrent is just BitTorrent, it runs on the web, but BitTorrent desktop, it runs on the desktop, right? So that is the cool stuff. And yeah, you can go check it out. You will love it. This person has actually created some really interesting projects. I'm talking about Feroz, right? You can actually go sponsor him and sponsor the Open Collective if there are any, right? And it's used by so many people, right? So many people. You can actually see 5.3K, and there will be more people that don't come up here. So it shows up here. So dependence is basically all these repositories are using it, and there are a lot of packages dependent on it too, right? So yeah, you can actually see P2P messages and whatnot. There are many packages that depend on it. And just a moment, package BitTorrent, and there are other BitTorrent related stuff. So if you go to Feroz BitTorrent, I think this was called different things at different times. I'm not sure. This is called BitTorrent now. Feroz BitTorrent probably was the thing initially. So Feroz and WebTorrent should go to WebTorrent again. WebTorrent/WebTorrent. Yeah. So other than that, substrate system, dev containers, WebTorrent, I'm not sure. Banao, WebTorrent, GitHub, Banao, I don't know what this is. BANOU, yeah, it's not there. And then dev containers, I think these are just packages. I haven't found for this repository yet. And yeah, cool. I think these are npm packages or some GitHub related packages. Right, and Feroz has actually created some really interesting stuff, and looks like he's now running Socket, which I guess is the company behind Socket.io. He contributed to tools, Socket CLI. Um, there was this company, I mean, there was this thing called Socket.io, which was very popular, right? Yeah, bidirectional and low latency communication for every platform, and I'm wondering if this is the same as Socket Dev. So it's a real-time application framework, Node.js server based, and I'm guessing you can actually see Feroz here. I'm not sure, but socket.dev secure dependencies ship with confidence. Okay, this is something different. Find and compare millions of projects. Okay, so there are a lot of websites like this which talk about comparing of open source projects. There is npm, and then there is Golang, Maven, and all. There's this thing called libraries.io, which does something similar. Weird that they have the name socket.dev. So libraries.io also has so many open source packages. It monitors them, and it across 32 different package managers. So for example, if you say BitTorrent, so BitTorrent, you'll actually notice a lot of them. You'll have to log in, is it? Okay, I'll just log in using to link your account. Yeah, I have done that. Okay, so yeah. So here you can see the different licenses, different languages, Golang, JavaScript, and whatnot, and different, I think, platforms. So say npm and whatnot, and I don't know what is hex. NuGet is, I think, for C#. I'm not sure. RubyGems is for Ruby, and PyPy is for Python. Cargo is for Rust. So Conda is again, I think, for Python stuff. So Conda packages and all. Closures, probably Closure. Puppet, I don't know. Homebrew is like for both Mac and Linux. There are homebrew stuff. And Nimble, I've heard of Nimble actually. It's a Nim thing. Okay, I think Nim is actually Nimble. Nim, I think it's package manager for Nim programming language. So Nim is a programming language. So yeah. Anyway, so let's go here. If I want to talk about programming languages, I could just go all day long. I have heard about so many programming languages, but I haven't learned any of them except a few. For example, there's this language called OCaml. I think it's called OCaml.org. Yes, it's OCaml, and then we have Elm. Elm. This is pretty interesting. Elm language, programming language, right? So it's a functional reactive programming. It's for the front end, I think, for creating web browser-based graphical user interfaces, purely functional and whatnot. And then there is Dart, which is used to create mobile applications and many other things. So Dart programming language, using which people create Flutter applications, Dart.dev. So there are many other out there. So pretty interesting stuff. And there's also something called VLang, and then the V language, uh, V programming language, and then there is of course Golang and all that. And then there is also Ziglang, ziglang.org. Let's see if that is there. Yeah, Ziglang is a. Anyways, so Feroz has actually created many other things. Like there's this thing called BitMidi. So listen to free MIDI songs. Uh, so I think this uses something similar to BitTorrent or WebTorrent. Let's see. So web, is there torrent here? Nope. I'm not sure then. But other than that, he's created many other things. So buffer module and whatnot. He has 148 repositories, is probably less for his level, but I mean, he also contributes to many other things. So it looks like there is feroz.org. And he has created a lot of other peer-to-peer stuff. Yeah, this is him, so you can go check it out. He has written multiple things. Yeah. So I think BitTorrent, he might have written somewhere. WebTorrent, yeah, WebTorrent desktop. So libtorrent adds support for the WebTorrent protocol and all that. Right? So he's written many interesting things. He's been writing since 2009. Like that. That's like crazy. What else? One moment. He actually created this thing called Peer CDN, which was a content distribution network or content delivery network. Let me go check. Peer CDN, so I think content delivery network. So it was a Feroz. So you can actually see Peer CDN was an old one. So it got acquired by Yahoo. Interesting. So I think Feroz wrote this. So yeah, Feroz is one of the guys. Thanks from the Peer CDN team. So this is Abhiraja and Feroz. Sorry, I didn't pronounce his name properly. Feroz, yeah. Just say Feroz. Feroz A and John and Abhi. So they created PSCDN. So yeah, it's a content on delivery network. Yeah, based on I think peer-to-peer stuff. So yeah, so one moment. So yeah, they created PSCDN and then they did a lot of interesting stuff. They also have a web paper, I think. Research paper. So by some people, all authors. Okay, looks like there's no author. So when was this created? Let me see. I'm wondering if Feroz has done anything here. Feroz. Interesting. So citations. Feroz anything? Yeah, very few citations. Okay, keywords. Yeah, I'm not sure if PSVDN was implementation of this or what. This is a 2008 thing. So PSVDN, I'm wondering when it was created. PSVDN, it's not there anymore. Of course, it's not gonna load for now. So you can actually see Feroz, and I think this is Abhi, or yeah, this is other startup thing. So looks like he's also doing some interesting stuff. So yeah. Looks like this is some LLM chatbot that runs entirely within a browser with no server support. It supports Mistral and Llama 3. Interesting. That's him, and that's Abhiraja. And let me see when they wrote stuff on this. So github.io, they see me blogging, they hate me. Okay. Interesting. So the PSVDN log still exists, I guess, and GitHub PSVDN and Twitter and yeah, document the domain. Okay, hello world. Okay, so GitHub pages, pages.github. Okay. This is actually based on GitHub pages. They created the log, I think. So yeah, and let me actually just say this. psvdn.github.io. Let me see. Yeah, this is the blog basically, and uh, I wonder. Yeah, it was 12 years ago. They have been blogging 12 years ago, which is like 2013 because it's 2025. So 2013, yeah, May 6th, and it says remove graph from homepage. um, let's see how long it goes to, like how back, how much, how far does it go back to? These people go back to 2012, and yeah, 2012 was the first. Is there any other PSVDN thing? Node Simple app, Bitfield, implementation using buffers, closure compiler. Okay. Yeah, there are not much repositories here, but yeah, I think PSVDN existed for some time, I guess. Let's see, PSVDN, feroz.org PSVDN goes to this, and PSVDN, and then you can actually see there's a Crunchbase company profile. Let's see when it was created, and it was acquired in 2013. So serverless peer-to-peer CDN looks like there is something called tier map now. Peer-to-peer CDN looks like Feroz did something around this, like did some video around this. Um, so this is from 2013, right? March 2013, and yeah, he has created some interesting stuff over here. So it's a test phase and all that, and revolutionizing video delivery with peer-to-peers, content delivery network, or I don't know, content distribution network. Distribution delivery, I don't know if they make sense, but yeah. So Syrian content delivery network versus content distribution network. Let's see. The terms are synonymous and can be used interchangeably. So it's kind of the same thing, and yeah, content delivery network and distribution network. And yeah, Syrian, it got acquired by Yahoo, and it was created in summary. Recent news, not much. Founder date is 2000. Wow, okay. So close date 2013. Founders is Abhiraja and John Hesse. Oh, looks like Abhiraja and John Hesse created this. And the research paper, I think, is based on this, I guess. I don't know. Because Abhiraja, let's see if I can find him. Abhiraja, John, nope. I wonder if these people just copied from Abhiraja. This was in the 2008 thing, but yeah. References, yeah, Abhi, okay. Authors, references, citations. Yeah, it's weird that um, yeah, not much names have come here. Anyways, I think it was a very old company. So, yep. And yeah, psvdn.com, it doesn't run anymore, of course. Um, Let me check out the people. Basically, it was Abhiraja and John Hesse. Anyway, so this is some peer-to-peer stuff. So, announced date, acquired, and created on founded in 2000. Yeah. So maybe PRCDN, Wikipedia. Let's see if there is any. It might say the dates. So Yahoo acquires PSVDN as it builds. Yeah. Uh, Looks like there's a library that provides content delivery network. someone has tried to do this. Anyways, there's a lot of peer-to-peer stuff out there, so you can read the code and whatnot. And interestingly, there's not much data around peercdn.com's Wikipedia. There's only Yahoo, that's all. And it says Yahoo acquired it. So peercdn, yeah, it's not there. Let me look for it in Google and not just DuckDuckGo. So peercdn Wikipedia. Um, yeah, here's a more detailed explanation. Realize the power of peercdn. Company Wikipedia. Acquisitions. So it looks like it was founded by Abhi Raja in 2013, it says. So I'm not sure. Maybe it is based on the idea of the whole research paper that I noticed. I'm not sure because there's a research paper in 2008 and it says founded in 2000 itself, because I'm not sure then what is going on. Anyways, related stuff, something to read, because it says novel peer-to-peer network assisted streaming content delivery network scheme, right? So which is pretty cool. And it looks like I might have to get this. I could actually copy this and put it in Sci-Hub. So Sci-Hub is actually a website where you can get research papers for free. So I'm just gonna go ahead and type that and see if I can get it. Yep, got it. I didn't even have to type the DOI URL. I instead have to type um, 1 moment. Type just the IEEE URL and it gave me the thing. So yeah, that's that. And yeah, list of acquisitions and whatnot. I think PR CDM is here. Yeah, so this was in 2013. There's not much information around it other than that. And it says it was found in 2013 only. Let's see, maybe this one has it. I don't know. Probably this or this. Right. Let me see. So founded. Right. So this is them. Found. This was found, and yeah, it says founders profiles and whatnot by combinator. So similar companies. Looks like there are other companies like say PR5 something peer to peer, I guess. Yes, CDN. Okay. So acquired company based in founded by founded in 2013. Here it says, right. So founded year 2013. So yeah, founded two more companies: Study Notes, YT Instant, and whatnot. I think YouTube. Not sure. When was PCD founded? Yeah, 2013 is what they say. I'm not sure though. And yeah, I mean, I think this is that. And let me see a moment. Why does this? Okay. Yeah. So here you should be able to find the founder. Yeah. Interesting how this leads me. Okay, so it puts the text. As you can see, the URL has the text thing, and then it is removed, I guess. This thing is removed, I guess. So text, yeah, colon, tilde, colon, and then the text is removed. So yeah. So that is the highlighted text. So yep. And then later it just goes to about the company. Anyways, and the TechCrunch also, it should say something about that, I think. Found Feroz. Anyways, so that's some stuff about PSUDN and study notes. And it operates on online video aggregation. So, oh hey, looks like it was based on YouTube, is it? The platform allows users to search for videos on YouTube. Okay, cool. So, I think YT Instant was a thing. I can't recall YT Instant, Fast Far East Movement on Y. So yeah, you can actually just put some video, I guess. An error occurred. Please try again. This is on YouTube. Um, yeah. So yeah, and if you look for something, let's say Golang. Let's see. I think it doesn't work anymore. I'm not sure though. So 1 million visitors in 10 days. So it looks like um, powered by YouTube and embed link. Right. Can you just say Golang and let me just open this up like this. Sure. So no, nothing comes up. YouTube itself, nope. Looks like there was some error. Anyways, but yeah, I mean they have created this YouTube instant the last 2 days. Insane, sleepless, and humbling. So he did some creative stuff, interesting stuff. So yeah. So looks like the YouTube CEO asked if you want a job on Twitter. So it looks like that is not there anymore, unfortunately. Loving YouTube instant. Want a job. Yeah. So yeah, and yeah, so that is some extra peer-to-peer stuff, peer-to-peer CDN, and there are like a lot of peer-to-peer streaming and whatnot out there that you can do. And I think Feroz also created PRJS and all, simple PRJS and whatnot, and he has given a lot of tech talks. You can actually find him on YouTube. Search, let's just search. Results show up directly. Okay, so search query. So let me just say Feroz, Feroz Abu. Yeah. So this is the guy you're looking at. So you'll actually notice that looks like he's talked about dark side of open source and protecting the supply chain. I think this is about socket.dev, yeah. And yeah, I mean, looks like he has had a lot of people talk to him. And there are some old, see, for 7 years old thing where he talks about standard JS and ESLint and whatnot, and then WebTorrent stuff some 5 years ago, and in 2020 that is. So yeah. I don't think I've seen this. I don't know. I've seen some of the stuff, JavaScript pranks, and then Socket 1 year ago. So a lot of stuff on I think WebTorrent and all that. So you can actually see I think WebTorrent a lot. He calls it mad science and whatnot. So actually, yeah, this is pretty cool bringing WebTorrent to the web. So this was 11 years ago. So imagine that was like 2014, right? So you can actually see this is from 2014. Yeah, 2014. So yeah, and WebTorrent 10 years ago and all that. So yeah. So you can go and check it out, WebTorrent, WebRTC and all. And to check out about WebRTC, you can just go to WebRTC website. You can understand about WebRTC. It was initially started by Google with Chrome, right? But I think now there are other people trying to do this. Is open source and supported by Apple, Google, Microsoft, Mozilla, amongst others. The base is maintained by Google WebRTC team, and you can actually see the support. I think, yeah, so support is mentioned here, which web browsers support it and whatnot. Here you'll find the different supports. So native development, one moment, including links to API references and all. So Google groups contributing WebRTC videos. Interesting. There's nothing mentioned here. Weird. Overview, native development. I think this is Android, iOS. Okay. It's meant for browser developers who want to integrate WebRTC. Application developers are encouraged to use the WebRTC API instead. So that is the API. and bug reporting, Google Groups, and whatnot. Right. So source code, source repository, you can actually see it. It's here. So yeah, that is that. So you can actually do a Git clone. It's a Git-based thing. And sanitization samples, WebRTC videos. There's a lot on WebRTC, I guess. You can actually go check it out. And the real-time communication in browsers, right? So I think real-time communication is a big thing and it's a big deal. WebRTC is one thing, and real-time communication about video and all that. And there's also this idea about doing real-time syncing and all. So there's one more thing. I forgot the name of that thing. I think it's called motion player or something. Real-time sync protocol for the web. For web, I think it's called motion something. I forgot the name. I mean, this is different. Real-time transport protocol (RTP) or real-time streaming protocol (RTSP) are all different kinds of protocols. But I think there was this thing called real-time streaming protocol, called motion something. I think it's probably anyway. So there are web. What do you say? Real-time streaming protocol, real-time transport protocol, RTP, and network time protocol. This is just time-related stuff. Precision time protocol, and web protocols and standards for real-time communication. If you look for this, you might actually find that there are some, like WebRTC is one, RTC, real-time communication, and then there is this, okay, real-time messaging protocol and all, session initiation protocol, okay, and then there is WebSockets, of course. But I remember noticing something else. I forgot the name though. I think it was called motion capture web protocol, I think it was a protocol, yes, web protocol, motion capture. No. Anyways, I'll probably is the process of recording high resolution moving objects. Okay. No, I think it was not. Let me look for working groups, web protocol working groups, and I think you will find it in w3.org. Right, there are different working groups, and I think real-time something will be there. Real-time communication working group, media and entertainment. So you can actually see this here, right? Media and entertainment and network and communication. So here you can see this one group, and in that I think okay, it was all media is one. For some reason it doesn't go to media. Yeah, okay, this one goes to media. Weirdly, this is basically WebRTC. This is media. Does it come up? Yeah, media comes up. Networks and communications, this comes up. Yeah, networks and communications. This is WebRTC, that's fine, right? There are some real-time communication stuff. There's web authentication and all, and I think there was more. I just forgot the name of this thing. I'll probably make another video for that. And however, even this video has become pretty big. Web has transformed media and broadcasters, active groups, audio working groups. So there's an audio working group, and then there's a GPU media working group. Improve client-side media processing and playback features, timed text, web real-time communication working group. I think web RTC, media and entertainment in this group. And I think something about time sync. I think web media is one more thing, of course. Immersive captions, something about captions. There's games, right? Then color on the thing. Audio visual, okay. Media and entertainment. I wonder if this is the thing. Web TV, okay. Web transport. Timed text. I think this is about subtitles. Timed text markup language. I think this was about subtitles. Uh, one moment. Real-time conditions. Second screen working group. That enable pages to use secondary screens to display web content. Immersive web, I think, XR, basically augmented reality, virtual reality, immersive web working. And visit the audio. I would like to just check out this. And I think it was called motion capture or something. Motion capture web protocol working group. Let me see, working group. Motion capture. Time sync motion capture working group. Let me see. Time sync motion. No, this is just randomly saying stuff. A web standard. So this was actually a web standard. Web standard and protocol for time sync. Yeah, I'll just say time sync. NTP is synchronizing time for media synchronization. For media synchronization. Using HTTP real-time control protocol, WebSockets, SDP session description protocol. There was more to this: synchronization, accessibility, media synchronization on the web. Is this called motion model? I think this is the one. Yeah, I was looking for this. So there's something called motion, and there's continuous media and whatnot. A motion model, and so I think I'll download this and call this as media synchronization on the web. And so you can actually see that there is this kind of related to peer-to-peer, I think. Peer-to-peer, yes, peer-to-peer communication, right? And they wanted, and they were talking about WebRTC also. So, yeah. So there's something called motion, and I think there's some timing object. I think there's something called capture, media capture, okay, and media capture streams, okay. I'll probably go to pausing programming model timing SRC. I think this is the one that I'm looking for. Timing, web timing. Yeah, so programming model for timed web applications based on the timing object, precise timing. And behind this is a company which actually runs a server. This is the client side of things. It's called Multi-Device Timing Community Group, right? It's one of the groups. So yeah, it's a w3.org thing only, similar to this. Doesn't come under ecosystems. It comes under groups, community. Okay, it comes under the community. So not groups or anything. Comes under the community, and you can actually probably find them. Groups, community groups, and we'll probably find timing, show results, nothing, huh? It's called multi-device timing community group. So let's see, let's call it multi. Yeah, best practices, multi-dimensional, interesting. Community groups, okay. If I click on this, it says groups only. Resources, and if I search for this, if I just say community instead of just this, I think there are different kinds of communities. So you can actually see in the w3.org community that this is the thing. So this is basically the community and business groups. So you can actually see different kinds of communities here, I think. So the current groups, you will actually see the community groups. And you can actually create a community group, create a business group and all that. So WebAssembly, there is web platform, GPU for the web, WebDX, permanent identifier, web machine learning. Looks like there's a machine learning thing, right? It was created on 2018. I think this is resource description format. I'm not sure. Let me check. Um, RDF resource. Or is RDF? I think it's not being defined here. So looks like it's a RDF star specification, some specification. I wonder what is RDF. So yeah, resource description framework. Yep. So yeah, immersive web, open active, solid, ARIA and assistive technologies. You would know about ARIA if you have built for accessibility. And web extensions, web Bluetooth, RDF, JavaScript libraries, AI agent, data privacy, vocabulary, so much, right? So there's so much. So they're currently saying there are so many groups. So currently, if you search by just the name, like if you look for timing, I think you might find it. So S, so Web of Things, Japanese, audio description. If I look for timing, I think there is two. Just not able to find it properly here. Maybe I might be able to find it here. Timing. No, the community is called what? Web timing. So it's called multi-device timing community group. Interesting. So current groups and multi uh, device. I think multi-dimensional quality metrics. Second screen. Okay. Multi-device. Okay. There's nothing such over here. I'm not sure why. And sort by activity, sort by title. I think I can sort by title. Then you might be able to see the ones with T, STU, time, threat modeling. Okay. And for M, I think you might find it here. Media content, multi-dimensional music. Okay. Weird. I think for some reason it's not here. First check whether one exists. Current, these are the current groups, proposed groups, past groups. I think this is a past group probably. Let me check. Timing, yeah, it's an old group. It was closed on January, right? And you can actually see the group is not closed. So this is the group I was looking for, multi-device timing and multi-device, yeah. So this group, yeah, it says group is closed. Group was closed. So it's based on the timing object, and yeah, I mean a lot of people were able to play a song in sync using this thing, and this is by a company who has a you know server-side software which is closed source, and you just need to use this thing called shared motion timing provider. So there are libraries, I think, for this. So there's a library, I think, for this, and the backend is basically shared motion is provided by Motion Corporation, so you can actually see, and implements the timing provider API, so which is actually this, and timing object. So you can actually find out about these. Timing is everything, so you can actually see. You can actually use it for free, I think, free service. The only thing we ask in return is to have, and commercial free service you can use when we are limited to 100 daily for this. It should, however, be a great way to get some initial hands-on experience. Head over to our to get started right away. So looks like there is a API for this, and they allow 100 daily connection, like 100 free daily connections, and for more than that, you can actually uh, you know get a commercial service from them, pay for them, and get it. And the API. So I am wondering, how do you get this? I think the support, I'm not sure. So this was generated by GitHub pages. So web timing, examples, GitHub. So this is GitHub. Examples, hello world, documentation. So this is the timing, source code for timing related libraries, right? So this is a web timing. and the timing object and all that. And I think timing object, converter, callback and all, multi-device examples. So multi-device, you basically can see this multi-device examples, page local examples. Okay. Um, Maybe let's use media sync example. So here you can actually use this, I guess, and the Peach Open movie project presents. Okay, so you can actually play and so looks like you can actually get the media sync library from this mcorp.no, right? So which is basically mcorp.no this, right? The corporation mcorp.no and Motion Corporation is the play thing, and mcorp is just called mcorp.com. What about .no? Okay, mcorp.no. So M Corporation, yep. So you can just get it from MCorp, I think. So you can actually see that library media sync. So I wonder if there are other things here. Yep, there are other things here like motion. Nope. Share. Nope. Media sync is there. There is timing source, JS, and then there is media sync CB, CA. I'm not sure what those are. And something about magic slideshow and whatnot, some extensions of sorts. Okay, D3 chart, I guess, something like that. I think D3 is for that. So add-ons, magic, mcorp, yes, and cool. They have quite some things, and then add-ons, magic linear state, magic UI. Okay, so they have quite some stuff. So yeah, that is there, and I'm guessing you can actually just play, and you'll notice the syncing happening here. Pause, reset, play, skip fire ahead, pause, reset, skip ahead, and I think yeah, like this is a big thing. I think like big let me see. Uh, One moment, pause, skip fire ahead. I think that this is a very big you know oh, it's just 100. Skip fire back. This is just 100 seconds, I think, and that's the last. Very big video, and this should just stop at that. Yeah, that's all. Anyway, so these are some interesting stuff in peer-to-peer. So you can actually see timing source and all that over here, and are available from GitHub, and you can also get it from, I think, so this is from the GitHub IO website or the timing source. This, I think it's under the lib v1, v2, v3, v2, v3, right? So media sync, sequencing test. So there are 3 sets of versions. So yep. So yeah, those are some of the peer-to-peer stuff that I wanted to show. And there are a lot of people working on peer-to-peer stuff and peer-to-peer computing and whatnot. So yeah, that's all I had for this video, peer-to-peer mania. That's the next one. Bye bye.